that moment that makes them just kind of go when they're down?
Well, they've got a lot of experience, and we've played a lot of big games, and we've been down in many games, by pretty big margins. So our guys know that we have an excellent defensive team, and we got some explosive scorers. So, 13 points could be 2-3 minutes. That's how we look at it. And but it all started with our second half defense. We held them to 33 points, and then we just got amazing contributions off the bench. Every single guy came in and made an impact. I could go down the list: Jordan Bell, Quinn Cook, Alfonso McKinney. When Andre went down, played huge minutes, was a plus 24 tonight. We needed Jordan's minutes big time. Jonas hit a big shot for us in the fourth quarter. And then I don't even know what to say about Draymond. I mean, he was like a wrecking ball out there. He was just destroying everything in his path. The pace that he was generating was incredible, and it just seemed like he never got tired.
Kerr Eggers, Portland Tribune. Steve, second half, was it just a matter of playing better, or did you make some adjustments? What was the difference?
Mainly just playing better. It's such a long game. That's the thing you learn. When you've been in the NBA for a while, there's time for so many swings in the game itself, and especially these days. So many 3-point shots taken, a lot of possessions, and so. Our guys know that. They've been through it, and so when we were down, we knew we could get back in it. And again, the defense is what allowed us to do that.
John Dickinson, 95-7 the game in San Francisco. Steve, you mentioned Draymond, but just the relentless pressure of both ends. I mean, he was getting the ball and just pushing it. Do you feel that constant push has worn the Blazers down maybe as the series has gone on?
Well, I don't know about that, but it set a tone for tonight's game. He was doing it in the first half, which allowed us to kind of hang around when we weren't playing well, and then he did it throughout the second half. And when he's coming downhill like that, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense in the paint at the rim, and then you've got shooters on the perimeter, and he's a great passer. And so. He's got a lot of options, and what I liked tonight was he only had 2 turnovers with all that, made great decisions all night. So it's one of the best games I've ever seen Draymond play.
Steve Metch, Nyman Barrier News Group. What went into the decision to start Damian, and after he picked up a couple of quick fouls, what'd you like out of Kevon and Jordan tonight?
Well, we liked Damian's size and athleticism, and so we wanted to start the game with a little more, a little more verticality at the rim and ability to cover ground from our big guy. It's a lot to throw on his plate at this point. He hasn't played in 4 or 5 months. I probably threw him out there a little too soon, but it's a good experience for him too. But he picked up the early fouls, and then, with what Portland did, they made some nice adjustments. And the way they played was a better matchup for Jordan Bell, and Jordan came in and played extremely well.
Hey, Steve, what was going on with Andre Iguodala in this game? Injury?
He was sore. I think lower leg. He just had some soreness, and he's going to get an MRI tomorrow. So we didn't want to risk anything and put him back in the game. So when we took him out mid-third, trainer said that'll be it for him. So we'll know more tomorrow.
Anthony Slater with The Athletic. You're plus 55 in the second half of the series. How much do you think, kind of, the way your minutes distribution in the series is going, how much do you feel like you guys maybe have the fresher legs in the second half?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Plus 55 in the second half.
Plus 35?
55 in the second half in the series.
In the second half, yeah.
You're giving spread minutes all around. Do you think you guys have the fresher legs?
I don't know about that. I just think that our bench is giving us great minutes, and that's been really key for us. Even on the road in a game when we were down 18 points. None of our starters played 40 minutes in a playoff game. So I mentioned the contributions off the bench and the number of contributions, the number of players who came in and contributed. I think that's a real key. We can keep the game moving and really, you know, gain traction in the game when those guys are out on the floor. That fourth quarter run was really key for us.
It's Steve, Mark, Medina Bay Area News Group. Obviously, Draymond has had a lot of games like this in his career, but do you think this is his best stretch of games of his career?
He's done so much here. It's hard to look back and say what's the best, what's his best stretch. I just know he's playing unbelievably well right now. He's playing with force. He's playing with discipline. He's playing under control. He's not letting anything bother him. You know, officiating, you know, bad shots, turnovers. He's just moving on to the next play. So from that standpoint, it's as good as he's ever been.
Mark White, NBC Sports Bay Area. What's been the key to kind of maintaining discipline and pressure defensively against Lillard and McCollum in this series?
Well, they put so much pressure on us, and I'm not sure we were that disciplined tonight. We jumped at, I think, 3-point shots where they drew fouls, so we gave them 9 free throws. But we're just trying to put. They're amazing scorers, and you can't stop them with one guy. So we're just trying to have a lot of help defense available, and you know, send fresh bodies in there and do the best job we can.
Colin Ward Henninger, CBSSports.com. Because of the way you guys play, your pace, you score a lot of points, you shoot a lot of threes, and kind of the soft-spoken nature of most of your stars, Draymond.
Most of them.
Most of them. Do you think that the toughness of this team has been underrated over this run that you've had?
Maybe it's just not highlighted, but you know, it's so hard to win a championship in this league. The competition is so fierce, and it's a 2-month journey once the playoffs start. And you know, they've been to the finals 4 times, so that tells you all you need to know about their toughness and their competitive desire.
Steve, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. With Kevin Durant out, everybody's called on to do more. But in Draymond's case, does Kevin's absence affect him, especially in the way that he's able to initiate, to, you know, run down the floor the way he was doing tonight?
I think the biggest thing is he has the ball in his hands a lot more. You know, with Kevin out, you know, it's a guy who was averaging 34, 35 points a game in the playoffs when he went out. I think, you know, the best player in the NBA right now, Kevin Durant. And so Kevin obviously is going to have the ball in his hands an awful lot. So he goes down, and all of a sudden that changes the responsibility of a few different players. It provides more opportunities for the bench, but it puts the ball in Draymond's hands a lot more. So you can look up the usage rate on one of those websites and figure it out. Ethan probably knows.
Steve, Jeffrey Ziano with the Oregonian. Steph really took over early in the fourth quarter. Did you get a sense that maybe he sensed that this was an opportunity to really kind of put them away in this game, in this third game?
I think we all sensed that. You know, we've been down this road before many times. We've been up 2-0 quite a bit, and I don't think we've been that great in game 3s over the years. And that's all we talked about the last 2 days was we have an amazing opportunity to seize control here. And so I think that's what this was about, was respecting our opponent, knowing the magical run they've been on, how tough they are to beat in this building, and understanding that this is the game. You know, you come up here for 2. The first one is the one you want to get. because if you don't get the first one, the second one becomes much more difficult. So I think our guys understood the sense of urgency and played that way, especially in the second half.
Last question, front row.
Steve, following up on that, Nick Friedel, ESPN, when you talk to your team now, up 3-0, if you guys win Monday, I believe you have 9 full days of rest. How much of a point of emphasis will you make that to the rest of the group, knowing what's on the line in Game 4?
We won't talk about anything other than Game 4. What's after that doesn't matter. It may be Game 5. What's after that might be Game 6. So we just focus on the next game ahead of us, and we've got some guys banged up, but we've done a really good job. I'm really proud of this group for playing through a number of injuries that we've had. With Kevin and DeMarcus and now Andre. It's a remarkable group to continue to press and play at this level without so many key guys. So very proud of them. Thanks.
A couple of those questions touched on maybe some misperceptions about the Golden State Warriors based on where they were a few years ago. That they take a lot of threes, for instance. They only took 26 tonight, which is not a ton for an NBA team. And that they're not as tough as, or they're tougher than people maybe think they are. This was a tough effort in terms of who was on the floor, what they were getting done. Already without Durant, Iguodala not available for much of the night, and they were able to come back from double digits down at halftime and blow the Blazers away essentially in the second half.
Don't forget to mention Cousins hasn't been around either.
Sure, yeah.
Another one of the starters. You're down Cousins, you're down Durant, 2-time MVP in the finals, and now Iguodala gets hurt during the course of the game. This team we associate toughness with banging and beating people up and the physicality part of it. And this team is so tough here mentally that they understand who they are. They know what they're capable of doing. It starts at the defensive end. They'll all tell you that. And they're covering for a couple guys that are out there that aren't the greatest defenders, but they do a lot of other things.
This was a character win. This shows the character that's in that locker room. There's no KD. And we learned that in the Houston series, they're not going to make excuses. They go into this series, they go ahead and they take care of business. Now this win, they're still depending on a lot of guys on the bench. Iguodala doesn't play for a large part of this game. Nobody makes any excuses. Nobody hangs their head. Nobody gets down on themselves, even though in these last 2 games, they've been down by double digits in the second half. They come out, they take care of their business, and they systematically take you apart. This goal is to a certain degree. I think we forgot what they were before Kevin Durant got there, and we've taken Steph Curry and this backcourt and Draymond Green and a lot of these guys for granted. And now they're showing us, hey, y'all forgot. We will remind you what we were.
Czar, hold that thought. We'll get to Terry Stotts in Portland.
Our offense fell apart. We missed some shots, took some tough shots, didn't move the ball as well. They were scoring, so we were taking it out of the net. Didn't get any transition. Said at the beginning of the series, to beat Golden State, you got to be able to score. And, scoring 33 in the second half is not going to do it.
ESPN, Terry, why has it been so difficult for Dame to get going in this series offensively?
I think the double teams, obviously the trapping is designed to get the ball out of his hands so he doesn't have the same freedom. I think they're good one-on-one defenders. Some of it's missing shots. He gets to the rim, he hasn't finished around the rim as well. But I don't know if it's one thing. Obviously their defense is part of it. Missing some shots, getting them some easier shots is tough.
In the back on the left, please.
Jamie Goldberg from the Oregonian. You made the decision to start Myers Leonard. Why did you make that decision, and what do you think he gave you in this game?
He had a terrific first half, like the rest of the team. I liked his spacing. I liked the way he played in Game 2 in Golden State. He can space the floor, and he and Dame, he and CJ have a good 2-man game, and obviously is designed to help our offense a little bit. So it looked really good in the first half, not so much the second half. But that wasn't his fault.
Bach, ABC 7 Sports. Steve Kerr described Draymond Green tonight as a wrecking ball. How would you describe him?
He was the difference maker. What he did, he kept them going even though we had a lead in the first half. His energy, the way he was pushing the ball, kept them going. And you know, he has such an impact on the game on both ends. You know, offensively with his passing, his playmaking, he makes his teammates better, and defensively he's all over the place. He impacted the game. He was obviously he's the player of the game tonight. He impacted the game.
Terry, Tom Ward, Coin TV. Now that you're one game from elimination and you guys have exceeded everyone's expectations for this postseason run, what do you say to your team tomorrow to try to, because you guys have won 2 games in a row in the last series, including on Denver's home floor. So what do you say to your team to get them to maybe believe that this can be possible?
We're going to give it our best effort on Monday. I mean, that's all that matters, is we give it our best effort. We give it everything we have on Monday, and whatever happens, happens. But that's having the pride and the professionalism to give it the best effort and get a home win, and then go from there. There's no. I don't know if it's as much about strategy as about just rallying around and giving it the best effort possible.
Marcus White, NBC Sports Bay Area. What kind of boost did you get from your bench early in the second quarter, and then what did you see different from the Warriors bench in the second half?
The first half everybody contributed. The starters, the bench, with different combinations really worked well. You know, if you score 66 points in a half, a lot of people contributed that. Second half, it was just a struggle. I don't know how much it was their bench. You know, they're a championship team. They've been a championship team, and they have a style of play, and they continue to play at a certain level. And the second half, we just didn't match that. Whether it was their bench players or their starters, they didn't miss a beat.